Hey, what is up, everyone? Good to see y'all today. And then do we have this pinned? Let's just double check. Boom. All right, guys. Thanks for jumping on the webinar. We're going to be talking back to school. Cool thing about us being in Arizona is that we already did our back to school. Like most of our kids went back end of July. So the nice thing about it is anything that didn't work, I'm not going to teach you. All the things that did work is what we're going to focus on today. So we actually had a chance to already put some of this stuff in practice this year and see results from it. And that's what I'm going to be focusing on with all of you guys today. So as you guys are jumping on, if you can do me a favor, just drop in the comments or in the chat where your school is located and the name of your school. That would be awesome. I always like getting people in similar areas linked up when possible so you guys can network and help make each other better. And then if you guys have any questions at all during today's webinar, you can, one of two options. You can drop it in the chat, or if you just want to unmute yourself and ask, I am totally cool with that as well. I love the interaction back and forth. So please feel free to interrupt me at any time. And then lastly, if you guys have done something in the past for back to school that's gotten you amazing results, we want to hear about that as well. So please drop any ideas you have in the chat. We'll give some time at the end of the webinar as well to just allow you guys to share and open up and tell us what you've been doing in the past. All right, so we're going to cover a few fronts here today, and we're going to split this up and sort of segment it. So we're going to take digital as one front, okay? And we're going to be talking about ads, content, and last one's going to be email. Okay, and then we're going to talk about in school, so stuff that you're going to do within your school. And if you don't know anything I'm writing right now, it's okay. We're going to cover it. The two main things we focus on are drive and events. Okay, and then we're going to talk about external. Really just focusing mostly on getting in with the school systems. And when we get to this, we'll dive into some details. And I really want to give you guys actionable things to take away. So when you leave this webinar, you just have like a checklist of like, oh, if I go right now and start this today and just follow it in this order, I'm going to be set up pretty good for a pretty strong August and September. With the school systems, for those of you guys, because every time I talk about getting into the schools, there's always a few school owners that are like, well, we've already tried getting into the schools, it doesn't work, or there's already another martial arts school that's already ingrained in the school system, so we're not going to be able to get in. When I moved to Arizona, there was a martial arts school ingrained in like every single school in our area. It is no longer that way because we did some of the things that I'm going to teach you guys today to really help gain a lot of favor with the schools. And we'll be touching on that as well. So let's do this. We're going to work ourselves backwards today because I really want to start with the external because to me, I think that's the most important piece. And it's also the lowest hanging fruit for us to go and grab. All right, so let's talk about how we get in the school systems, and then we'll come back to the rest of this. Okay. The first thing to understand with schools. Oh, did I lose my marker? Come back. So the first thing to understand with schools is even though they're sort of a business, they don't think like a business, okay? Meaning that they don't think like marketing, they don't think about opportunities. So some of the best ideas that we've had to get into the school system have come from us giving the school the idea. And a lot of times it's an idea that's going to help them to generate more revenue for their school that they can use to put towards whatever programs they want. But for us, we've had really good success with that. So most of you guys have a school drop-off line. So being honest, my wife does most of the dropping the kids off at school and picking the kids up at school. But occasionally I will go and do it. And I was in this long line of death that you are just like waiting to finally get your kids in the car. You're in this line for like 15 minutes sometimes, waiting to pick up your kids. And while I'm in this line, what I notice is I'm looking at where the kids are all standing. I'm looking at what the parents are seeing. And the specific school that I'm thinking of has this giant empty fence, like right at the school pickup line. And it's something that every single parent is probably sitting in front of for at least 5 minutes a day. So for us, I went to the school and I said, hey, I have an idea that I think would help you guys make money. And I would want to be the first one to give you money to do this. You guys have this long fence that the parents are seeing every single day. I run a business, I'm a marketer. And one of the things that I would love to suggest and be the first one to take advantage of is you guys should sell space on that fence for banners for businesses so that they can advertise to the parents coming to pick up the kids. And I'm like, if you guys are cool with that, what I would like to do is give you guys $500, allow me to put a banner up there, and we leave it up there for the entire school year. And then next school year when it comes, we'll renew. We'll give you another $500 for that school year. Okay. And all of it started with a conversation just with the front desk. And then the front desk lady was like, you know what, the vice principal would be better for this. Went and grabbed the vice principal, and then it evolved from there. So one of the things that we do is we have a big trial offer banner. And here's what I'll do, guys. If you are in the Relentless Studio Owners group, which is our free Facebook group, Leah, I don't know if you can drop the link in the chat at all for everyone. But if you're in that group, what I'll do is later today, I will post the Canva file of our banner. So if you guys just want to grab it, change the colors, throw your kids on there, and then send it off to the printers, you guys will be good to go with that, okay? So for us, I probably should have gone in lower, but I went in with 500 from the start. If I did it again, I'd probably go in and offer 250 for the first time. But trial offer banner, a couple of things important on there. Number one, show school age kids, which should be a no-brainer. And number two, QR code. You need a QR code to send people to your site to actually take advantage of that offer. Worst case scenario, let's say I pay $500 for this banner and I get nothing from it in the form of new students, okay, which we did get a couple of new students last year when we did this. A couple, it wasn't like we wouldn't have like students pouring in from it. But here's what it did do for us is the first school we did this with, they were working with another martial arts school already. They no longer work with that martial arts school anymore. They work with us because we are not only giving them money in this form, but we also are constantly thinking of ways to go above and beyond to help the school. And we're going to get into some more of those as well. The second thing is our brand awareness. Us opening up a new school 8 months ago, not a lot of people knew who we were. Okay. We opened up a school 8 months ago. We had to create brand awareness from scratch. And pretty much every kid at this school knows who we are now. Every parent at this school knows who we are now. And it started with this as sort of the first layer of them seeing us every day. Because not only are the parents seeing this in the line, but you got to remember, kids are walking by that banner every single day of school. So we are constantly in their face, our branding up on that fence. So I would go drive by your schools or talk to the parents that go to your local schools and just look at how the pickup and drop off lines are set up. See if there's space for advertising. There are some schools in our area that already were doing something similar to this. So that was an easy in. We just called them and be like, hey, can we pay you money to put a banner up for this year or next year? The other thing that we did is one of the schools that was already doing this, they're like, well, we have to wait till renewal season because if all the banner or all the businesses that we already work with, if they want to renew, we're going to let them renew. And I go, well, what do you charge? Just curiosity, what do you charge for it? That school charged $200 to have a banner up for the school year. So I said, what if I give you $400 to guarantee that we get like first dibs to put our banner up? And I just asked them if we could like pay double. And she's like, I'll check on that. Got back to us. Guess what? We get our banner up first place next year. We get first choice. So there's always negotiation that can happen for how to do this, but this is just one way, right? Okay, next. And this is going to sort of coincide with internal stuff that you're doing. I'm going to get into the how-to actually get people to donate for this when we get to the internal part. But here's what we do. We do a school supply drive. Now, the first time I ever did this, I messed it up bad. And this was back when I was in Chicago. I was like, oh, this is all I'm going to do. I'm going to collect a bunch of school supplies like markers, notebooks, pencils, like all the normal stuff, right? And then I'm going to drive to each school and just drop off like a gift box of all of these school supplies. Surprisingly enough, the first or two of the first three schools I went to drop off supplies, when I went to drop it off, they're like, hey, this is so kind of you, but we actually don't need any of this stuff. And I was like, what? So I didn't pay attention to the actual supplies they needed. So instead, what we learned is ask the parents for a supply list for their kid's school, or ask the school itself. Because most schools, the supplies they need is based on specific classrooms, not the school in general, for the most part. At least out here, that's what we see as well. So once we started asking parents for supply lists, or now we know the schools, we'll just directly ask the schools to send us what the teachers are looking for. Okay, then we ask for those specific items for the drive. So that way we know that what we're giving them is actually stuff that they need and actually going to be put to use. It also makes them way more grateful to receive it. Now, the other thing that you're going to do with this for the school supply drive is teacher water bottles. And we're going to explain this in a second. Okay. So when we get permission from the school to start doing a supply drive for the teachers, the other thing that we ask is we say, hey, one thing that we also like to do is we like to donate a water bottle full of candy to each teacher that they can use as a reward system in their class. So if they see a kid showing great behavior or helping out another kid and showing great character, we want to give them this water bottle and they can grab a piece of candy to give to that child. Is that okay? All of them say yes. So we just ask how many teachers they have or how many classrooms they have. You get branded water bottles. Okay, and you just fill it with candy, like Jolly Ranchers. We just put Jolly Ranchers in them. Okay, and then the other thing that we put in there is we put in a note for the teacher. Okay, and the note does two things. Okay, first, it explains why they're getting a water bottle. Okay, the second thing is there's a QR code to a Spark form that they can scan with their phone and submit a request for us to do a school talk. Okay, the one thing I want you guys to have on this form that's super important is number one, have a video of you giving a school talk. Now, Adam, I never recorded any of my school talks, so I don't have a video. How am I supposed to do that? You are going to do the video, or you're going to do the school talk to the camera like you're doing it in a school. Okay, and you're going to use that as an example to show the teachers, hey, this is what we talk about. The other thing that's really important with this form is you want a selection, like a checkbox area, for them to select multiple choice what they want the school talk to be about. And the reason we do this is so that we can show them like, hey, these are all the things that we help kids get better at. So for us, we do focus for better grades. We do emotional intelligence. That one has been super popular this last year. Emotional intelligence. The other one that we do is bully proof, right? Which is just teaching kids how not to be bullies and the best way to handle bullies at school as well. And when you do that, we just want to make sure that you are aligning with what the school teaches. Okay, super important, because otherwise, if I'm teaching like something crazy or something that doesn't align with the school, they're not going to ask me to come back to do a school talk. And then the other one is we do superhero self-confidence, okay? So they can select, and I'm sure I missed one of those or messed one of the titles up, but you guys get the idea. So they'll select one of those. They're going to give us their phone number and email, so that way we can correspond with them about dates, okay? And then we just have on there where they select the month that they think will be best, and then we use that as our opportunity to reach back out to them and say, hey, thank you for submitting this form. You can set up automation for this too, guys. Makes it really easy. But thank you for completing this form. We're so excited to come and speak at your school about insert topic here. I noticed that you marked August or September or whatever it is, October. as the month that would be best for us to come in. Is there a specific date in October that you are thinking of? We get really, really busy with school talks around this time of the year, and I want to make sure we get you on the calendar before we fill up. Okay, really, really simple. But you want that note in there because that's what's going to help you get into the schools. And at the school talks, when you guys do it, we try and sneak in marketing because some schools don't allow you to bring flyers and stuff. So silicone wristbands with a QR code, good hack. Bookmarks with a QR code, good hack. Pencils, can't QR code's harder on pencils, but you know what's not hard to put it on is custom erasers. Okay, so you can put your logo on one side, QR code on the other side, or website on the other side. But basically, we're going to come and give a bunch of school supplies away to the kids when we're there for a school talk. And it just so happens that a lot of those cool giveaways and supplies have a QR code that goes to our website or to our offer. So you guys can still sneak it in there. Most schools don't want you to hand out paper. They don't want flyers. They don't want brochures. Most schools, I would still ask if you can. Awesome. But most schools are not going to want to do that. So try and find things that the kids are going to like, that the teachers are also going to be okay with. Don't hand out like fidget spinners and crap that's going to distract the kids. Okay, but things that's actually going to help them be able to use it for school. Okay. So we have school supply drive. Teacher water bottles is great. The other thing that we love doing is teacher breakfast. Okay. Donuts are easy, right? We did donuts for a long time, and then all of a sudden I started thinking about it. I go, we have a brand that promotes kids being healthy and kids becoming martial arts athletes, and then we're showing up to school breakfast with like dozens of donuts that are like here to shove the sugar and carbs down your throat. So if you can, I would do something slightly healthier, maybe like a Panera catered breakfast. Like bagels, I guess, aren't that much better than donuts, but they appear slightly better. Einstein bagels. And then all they really care about, guys, is the coffee. So we'll usually go to Starbucks. And here's a cool hack for you guys. We'll go to the local Starbucks and we say, hey, we're donating a bunch of food for all of the school teachers for the first day of school. And we would love to be able to bring coffee for them as well. Is there any way that you guys could talk to your manager, or if I could talk to your manager, and just see if you guys would be willing to donate a couple like carafes of coffee that we can bring over for the school teachers to just help make sure that they know they're supported by our community. And we'd be happy to tell them that you donated this for free and tell them that it was this specific location. 9 times out of 10, Starbucks will donate the coffee. Okay, you don't even have to pay for it, which is awesome. And now that I'm saying that, I was like, I should probably try that with Panera and Einstein and see if they would donate food. We just have a really good relationship with the Starbucks by us because it's in our parking lot. So it makes that really easy to do. But for the teacher breakfast, okay, you're gonna get something that's not donuts. Okay, you want to bring a sign with you that says breakfast sponsored by Move Martial Arts. Okay, so have some sort of sign there. And then you want you and one other staff member to be at the breakfast helping to serve food and coffee. The last thing that you want to bring with you is a school talk sign-up sheet. Okay. And I like a physical one better than a QR code for teacher breakfast. And the reason is a lot of times with a QR code, they will scan it and they will walk away without actually filling out the form. And then you get lost, right? So instead, I like having the physical form. They're going to put their email address on there, phone number. They're going to check off what type of school talk they'd be interested in for their classroom. Okay. And then we just have a little like check mark at the end. That's almost like an I agree thing. Is it okay for us to follow up with you to schedule a date for the school talk? Okay. That's it. So it's a physical sign-up sheet that they're going to fill. And guess what, guys? As we're serving the breakfast, we are talking to the teachers about how we help teachers and do school talks on focus for better grades or having superhero confidence and those type of things. And then we're directing them to the sign-up sheet for that at the end to make it really, really beneficial for us to make sure that we can actually start creating partnerships with the school system. Okay, so all of these, the the last thing, I'll wait for the actually last thing for internal. Okay, any questions on this so far before we move on to the next thing? And you guys will see that none of this stuff is like insanely new. It's just we do things a bit differently than the way other people do it in the industry. And this is just our way of doing it, right? All right, no questions. Let's move on. Okay, next thing we're going to cover is what you're doing internally, so inside the school, and then we'll end with the digital side of things. Okay, and let me know if this is adding value for you guys, if you guys are hearing some of this and it's giving you guys some ideas or some momentum of what to do for this school year. All right, let me try a new marker. All right, we'll go with this one. All right, so internal. Okay, let's start with the one we already talked about. Okay, school supply drive. So we've tried this a couple different ways over the year, and being honest, each one works about the same. It gives about the same results. So it's really up to you guys how you want to do this, but I'll share with you guys what we've done. One of the things I'm going to talk about in a second is a back to school bash that we do every year. So we have done it where the back to school bash is $10 or $20, whatever price you want, or they can bring in a bag of school supplies, and that's their entrance to the back to school bash. Okay. The other thing that we do is for the back to school bash, if they just want to come in and pay for it, let's say it's $10, we let them know that, hey, all the money that is raised from our back to school bash is going to go to buy school supplies to then donate to local schools to help ensure that the teachers have everything they need to have a successful school year. Okay. So even if people are bringing money to pay for it, it's still going to a good cause. All right. So the entry is school supplies. Or $10 that goes to school supplies. I would make sure that any advertising you do for this also goes on your public facing Facebook page as well. This is community impact, guys. This is doing great things for the people in the area, the kids in your area. And this is stuff where people can really get behind supporting your business as a result of this. Okay. All right. So school supply drive. So you can do it with the back to school bash where it's an entry. This is what we did this year to collect it. And we had boxes and boxes and boxes of school supplies that we had brought in. I would say throughout the day, we probably had 125, 150 students show up. So it was really, really good. And we'll go into how we sort of structure our back to school bash in a second. It's not like a buddy bash. All right. So we have that way. The other way is we've done in the past is a month-long contest. Okay, so we have a box that we decorate in the lobby like a backpack. I will be very transparent and say I don't do any of the decorating because I am. If you need me to do anything with markers and paper or pen and paper, it's going to be terrible. So luckily we have a team that's super creative on that front. And then what you do is you do a contest between classes. What I mean by that is you have, so for us, we don't do beginner, intermediate, advanced. We have like year 1, year 2, year 3. Okay. And you set up separate boxes for each classroom. We'll just put class first. Okay. So we'd have a year 1, year 2, year 3 box. Okay. Anyone from that class, when they're bringing school supplies, they're going to donate it into that box. Okay. And then the most amount of school supplies collected, that winning class gets a free pizza party, which is essentially like a hour-and-a-half parents' night out. Okay, so they get a free pizza party. And then the cool thing is it becomes really competitive within your school because all the classes are trying to win the free party. And this is like an hour and a half on a Friday night. Pizza costs you like 60 to 80 bucks maybe for the number of pizzas you're going to need for that specific class, and then drinks and all that stuff. But at the same time, you're getting all of them competitive and sort of gamifying the process of how you're collecting school supplies. All right. But either way, this isn't into the school. So even if it's schools that you haven't worked with before, you still call that school and you say, hey, we just had this massively successful school supply drive at our martial arts school. And I have a box of supplies that I would like to come and bring by so that way the teachers have what they need in order to make the school year a success. When would be the best day and time to bring that by for you guys? And that's all you have to do. That just starts the conversation. And then we're going to show up with the box. And then when we show up, we just want to say, hey, we just want to thank you for everything you're doing to help raise amazing kids in this community. We're always looking for ways to partner up with educators to make the community better, safer, and really to help future-proof kids for what life is going to throw at them. So if it would be great with you, we would love to just host a teacher breakfast. So when you guys have your first Teacher Institute Day, we'll sponsor the whole breakfast. We'll bring in like Panera or Einstein Bagels, and we just want to serve you guys and interact with you guys and just see how we can be a force for good in the community, just like you guys are. That's it. Okay. That's the general conversation that has. And then it goes from that to you serving breakfast, to you doing school talks, to you becoming the one that they reach out to for field day or discovery day or whatever they call it in your area, where you'd come in and you just get to teach kids for a day, teach martial arts to kids for a day. But it all starts, this is like the in for us. Every back to school year is doing the school supply drive. Charter schools, public schools, private schools, doesn't matter. Okay. This is something that works tried and true pretty much consistently every year. The next part we're going to focus on is going to be the back to school bash. So we use this as both a retention tool and a new member generator tool, and we'll sort of go into that. Okay, for the back to school bash, this is the general gist of it. So we do 4 seminars or workshops, whatever you want to call them. We do, for the little guys, we do a superhero themed class. We allow them to come dressed in superhero costumes. I had one like 5-year-old one year that came when his dad painted him green like the Hulk. I just remember that because there was like green handprints all over the obstacle course that we had set up. But it was cool to see all the kids like really get into it. The other one that we do is either going to be a youth safety seminar, or even better and more timely, bully proof. Now, here is where this becomes very valuable, right? You're naturally going to have a lot of your own students that sign up for this, but what we do is we market this class only externally. Almost like it's its own event. And then you want to probably a 30-minute buffer after this seminar. Okay, and here's how you market this. It's so simple. It almost feels like you're cheating. All right, all you're going to do is you're going to create a Facebook event. So if you click on your, I believe it's your name or your little image on the top right, you get that menu that drops down and you'll see groups, events, pages, all that stuff. Click events and then you just go create event. Okay, so you're gonna create a Facebook event. In the event, you want to make sure there's a registration link. So you can do a Spark checkout page, landing page, whatever you want. Just something really to collect names, emails, phone numbers. That's the goal of it. Okay, you also want to make sure that there's directions So usually the first line of text in that Facebook event or the first post we have says important with big letters. You must register through the link below to attend this event. Simply joining this Facebook group will not mean that you are registered. So you want to make sure there's directions to register through the link. So that way we're actually collecting leads. Okay. Then what you're going to do on Facebook, you can boost the event. Now, I hear other consultants in the industry talk about boosting, and they're like, never do it. It's not worth your time. None of that. Every time we do a boosted event, we get leads for under $1. So, in my opinion, when you're boosting a free event, a free community event, you're getting leads for under $1. Anyone that tells you getting leads under $1 is bad. I don't think that's good information. So we boost the event. It's a free event. Okay. Also, when you create the event, we try and not fully link it to the martial arts school in the sense of this. So let's say we're doing a bully buster or bully proof event. All right. We're in the city of Chandler. We just call it Chandler's Best Bully Proof Workshop. That's it. Not Move Martial Arts Bully Proof Workshop. Okay. We'll have at the bottom hosted by Move Martial Arts. But we do Chandler's Best because the reason is it gets in people that aren't interested in martial arts or that maybe wouldn't be interested in martial arts if they saw something that was just martial arts related. Whereas when we do Move Martial Arts Bully Proof event, we're going to mostly get people that have some sort of interest in martial arts, and anyone that has any negative connotation to martial arts is not going to sign up for it. Chandler's Best Bully event, like the difference in enrollments or registrations is staggering. Okay, so I would use your town, whatever town's best bully proof event. Okay, and then you're going to boost it. And this is what we did for boosting. We did $20 a day for 7 days. Okay, we usually have it filled in 3 to 4 days from boosting it this way. Okay, so usually 3 to 4 days in, we're looking at the registrations. We're like, oh, we have like 70 people signed up. Let's kill this. The other thing you want to think of for your available spots is it's a free event, which means you're going to have a 50 to 60% show up rate. And if all 100% show up, teach a high energy, awesome workshop. I've never had a 100% show up rate for this, but usually it's in that 50 to 60% show up rate. Even with reminders and confirmation, it's still usually in that 50 to 60% show up rate. And then essentially what you're doing is when they come to the event, you're going to teach the seminar, and then you're going to run it like a mass intro at the end. The most important part for the mass intro, 2 things. I could do a whole nother call on mass intros. Number 1 is you need an offer that's good only for that day that creates urgency and scarcity. Okay. Whereas if they leave and don't sign up, they're not going to get this deal. And then you have to stick to that. Okay. I can go over sort of what we offer. Number 2 is you have to keep the kids distracted during the pitch. Super important. Because if the kids are constantly asking mom and dad questions while you're doing the pitch, mom and dad aren't hearing anything that you're saying, which means there's going to be 0 emotional response, positive emotional response from the parents to get that buy-in that we really are looking for. What we do is pretty simple. I still use an old-fashioned flip chart, a paper flip chart for mass intros, instead of doing like something digital. It's just, for whatever reason, I'm more comfortable doing it that way, and also it works really well when I do it that way, so I'm not going to change it yet. So what we do is we say, hey, because you guys took a leap of faith and joined us here for this workshop, not knowing what to expect, like we want to reward you guys with a special offer that's only going to be good for today. And I want to be very upfront. Like we believe in integrity, which means if we say we're going to do something, we're going to do it. And if we also say we're not going to do something, we're not going to do it. And what I mean by that is if you call me Monday and you say, hey, Adam, I was at that event and you guys had a special offer for that day. Can I still get it? I have to keep my word. I'm going to have to tell you no, because it's not fair to the people who are going to take advantage of this today. Are we all on the same page with that? Awesome. Okay, why do I do that? Because I want to set the tone that says, hey, this isn't something that you're going to be able to go home and think about. This is like, we need you to let us know today because we want to create that scarcity and urgency. So the way that we do on the flip chart is on the chart already, I'm going to have sort of the payment options. Obviously, this would be after we're explaining the program and the benefits. Okay, this is just the actual pitch part. So it'll say $199 down. And then we go, you're also going to need the following things when you start. So it'll say, we call it a jersey instead of a uniform. Jersey, wraps, boxing gloves. Okay, and then we have how much each is. So let's say $79 for the jersey. Wraps are $14.99. Okay, boxing gloves, let's say that's $50. Okay, and then when members join our program, they usually choose our 2-time-a-week class or our limited program. We're going to give you guys an offer on our 2 time per week today, and then we just go over. Okay, it's $229 per month for this membership. Now, I told all of you guys that since you made the decision to bring your kids here today and help level them up and future-proof them for life, that we are going to give you guys an offer for today only. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and remove the entire down payment so you guys don't have to pay the $199 down. And then the total gear is usually $125. Corporate won't let us give this away for free. So we're going to only charge you $89, whatever the cost to cover that is, okay, is what we charge. And then also, as long as you're a member here, you're not going to pay $229 per month. You're going to pay $199 a month instead. So to get started today, you just need to buy the gear, pay the first month, and then you're good to go. And again, if you call us Monday, we can't give you the same offer because it's not fair to all of you that are signing up today. And then we'll go ahead and schedule your first class today as well. And one thing I want to point out is before we do this, all the parents have already been handed a class schedule before we start the pitch. So as we're sort of pulling the flip chart out and getting that ready, our team is handing all of them the class schedule. So that way you're not like, what days, or there's no schedule objection at that point. Okay, so this is how we do it. We say, when you're ready to enroll, you can come see me. You can come see Coach April over there, Coach Scott over there. We have them raise their hands. Okay. And if you have any questions, we're available for that too. But I want to thank you guys for making the decision to future-proof your kids, bringing them to this workshop. And I know a lot of you guys are going to take advantage of this offer, and we cannot wait to team up with you to help make your child's life the best possible life that they can live. And then we go into sort of break up. We actively engage the parents and talk to them and talk to the kids. And we're just doing like rapport building, essentially. Okay. And then as soon as someone enrolls, we go, everyone stop. I have a huge announcement to make. Johnny's mom just made the decision to enroll him and move martial arts and help him become the best version of himself. Let's give Johnny a big round of applause. Johnny, that means you're getting free gloves, free jerseys, all that stuff. Let's hook you up. And then we'll get them all the stuff. And what that does is it makes every other kid start tugging on mom and being like, Mom, are you going to sign me up? Are you going to sign me up? Sign me up. So it makes it really, really easy. I had a streak that got broken. We had, and it wasn't like monster numbers, but the first one of these that I did for Move, we went 7 for 7 on. So we had 7 guests at it, nothing crazy, but we got 7 enrollments out of the 7. And then the 2 after that were also 100%. And then I had my first one where I was like 5 for 8 or something like that. But from one class, getting 5 to 7 new members, is that worth the, let's say, maximum $100 you're paying for your $20 a day in boosted posts? I would say yes, especially if we think about the long-term return on that. Okay, if a member at our school, we're still 8 months in, so our lifetime value isn't totally figured out yet. But let's say on average they stay 14 months, okay? Times that by 200, that means we're getting $2,800 in monthly recurring revenue per member, which means if I spend $100 and let's say I only get 5 students out of that $100, I paid $20 to acquire a student that is going to, in return, pay me $2,800. I would play that slot machine all day. If I can put $20 in and get $2,800 back all day, sign me up. I will not leave. Okay, so then for the other seminars, so we talked about superhero class, youth safety. I like to do it this way, and you don't have to, but this is just sort of the way that we do it. Uh, because it's a retention event, I like to see it as sort of like give back event. So we usually have one guest instructor seminar just to give our students something different. So this time we had Abel Uselo, who's a local school owner, one of our mastermind clients as well. He came out and did a jujitsu class for our guys because we don't regularly do jujitsu for most of our members. We've had Dave Kovar come out before and run a seminar during our back to school bash. We've had Roland do it as well. You don't have to do that, but I sort of like having that extra element. Okay, and then we'll also have a special class for our upgrade people, which is our Move Legends program. And then we will also invite non-upgraded students to this class as a preview. And then guess what we do at the end of this class? We pitch the parents. Okay. We pitch the parents at the end of that class. Make sure when you invite kids to your upgrade preview class that you tell them that the parents must stay for the class, and you will need them to stay 15 minutes after to just tell them about the program and about the offer. Okay, we have like a 5-minute pitch that we do afterwards. We typically, whether it's me or even one of my coaches, like we typically upgrade about 90% of the people that we invite. So this is a great opportunity. So now you have upgrades you're getting this day. You have new members you're getting from the Bully Proof seminar as well. And then at the same time, you're collecting school supplies to use that to get into the schools or to create a better relationship with the schools. So this is a really important element of kicking off our school year in the best way possible by doing it with the back to school bash and then incorporating the school supply drive either with this or doing the class versus class contest. What's the max registration? Gary, good question. If we fit 50 on our mat, but for like a bully proof seminar, it's probably one of the only times we're doing line drills a lot in that seminar. So for us, we usually open up like 90 to 100 registrations. And then if we get 60%, we got 60 kids there training safely. Okay. Also, most of you guys are probably good enough and experienced enough as instructors that if you have a massive class or if you have a lot of people show up, maybe more than you expected, you know how to rearrange the class to still make it fun and safe for the kids that are there training. The other thing I will say, and hopefully everyone already has this in place already, but your instructors and your coaches and your employees should be wearing something different than the rest of the students that makes them easily identifiable for the Bully Proof seminar. Sample Bully Proof seminar flyer you can share. I'm sure we have one. For us, we didn't create a flyer for it. We just created like an ad, like a ad for the boosted post is what we used. We had a general back to school bash flyer for the whole event that we use mostly internally, but for the outward side, it was like a square Canva image, if that makes sense. But let me see. I think it's Canva. If it's Canva, I'll definitely share it with you guys. If it was made in Photoshop, it might be a little bit harder. Okay, so internal we've covered. Okay, last part we're going to cover is digital. Okay, and we touched on digital a little bit with the boost of the event. Okay. First one, just for revenue generation, do some sort of back to school sale. So I know a lot of you guys maybe do like shorts and t-shirts for the summer and then you go back to full uniform. Okay. So maybe you're going to do a 10 to 15% off uniforms or pieces of uniforms. When we used to do like traditional martial art uniforms, it was usually the pants that parents needed when back to school season started because the kids wore shorts like all summer and then they went to put the pants on and they realized that like there's that much space between the ground and their pant leg. So you can do it on uniforms, you can do it on uniform pieces. But this is an easy way to get some extra revenue in. And also, we all have those parents at our school that try and make their kid wear the same pants for 8 years, where they start to look like capris or shorts at some point. This incentivizes them to replace that uniform and get that kid a new one. The other thing that we always preach to parents too is, like, parents, we get it. You got to wash your kid's uniform all the time because they're leaving here sweaty. 2 uniforms is better because you don't have to do as much laundry. You can have that backup one ready for their second class of the week, and don't have to scramble to get the laundry done. So in your messaging, talk about that. Parents will relate to that. Okay, so we have a back to school internal sale. Then you want to have a flash sale on trials as well. Okay, this is really simple. You do this as a 24 or 48-hour sale. We've done both, and honestly, the results don't differ too much whether it's 24 or 48 hours. What I will say is when we've done it 48 hours, most of the results come in the first 24 hours. Probably, I don't have any good answer for that. That's just how it worked. And basically what we do is we do a different offer than our normal offer. The two that we have done, one is easier setup, one is harder setup. Simple 50% off the trial. The one that works really well, though, for back to school is the pay your age or pay your grade special. Okay, and basically for this one, what we do is we set up coupon codes. So let's say the child's 7 years old, they only have to pay $7 for the trial. All right, I like age a little bit better than grade, because if they're like second grade, they're paying $2, and I'd rather have them pay more. But pay your age. So we create a coupon code from everywhere from 5 to 18. And basically what happens is in the email that we send, it says, if you would like to claim this, send us back an email just with your child's age, and we'll send you a special coupon code that you can use to purchase the trial for that amount. All right, so you're creating coupon codes. And this, a little bit of a manual process, right? Because you got to make sure you or your front desk person, whoever is responding to this, your program director, that they are responding with the correct coupon code and the link again. And basically what they're doing is they're just going to a Spark checkout page, and they're going to just put that coupon code in. The one thing I will say, if you're using Spark checkout pages, limit the number of fields they have to fill out, and make sure you try and get Google Pay and Apple Pay enabled on the checkout page. You want to make it as seamless of a process as possible for them to check out. More fields means they're going to look at it, and if they don't feel like they have time to fill it out right now, they're not going to fill it out. So we just collect the essentials like name, email, phone number, billing zip code, payment. That's it. I don't need to know the child's name yet. I don't need to know any of that. I can get that in the follow-up. I just want to make a really simple solution for them to go and check out and pay for the trial without having to jump through hoops or over obstacles. We had a client that did the pay your age challenge, and this is all done through email and one text message, and I'll sort of explain the cadence of that in a second. We had a client that got over 20 trials doing the pay your age, and it was funny because this guy is like the least technical person you could ever meet. He's had Spark longer than me, and he's still trying to figure out like basic stuff in Spark. But he was able to figure out the coupon code, sent this out, and got over 20 trials in the 2 to 3 days that he ran this promotion. And he was like, I've never gotten that response from my email list before. So if you're willing to do the work, pay your age, I think is a great offer to do. And it's a very unique offer that you don't really see, so it stands out. Our cadence for this, okay, if you're doing 24 hours, we do 3 emails spread out in those 24 hours. And then we do 1 text message. And the text message is super simple. It says, hey, for the first time in history, we're doing a pay your age offer, which means you can get our trial membership cheaper than ever before. I just sent over an email with all the details. Make sure you check your inbox. Basically, all that SMS is for is to increase the open rates for the emails, which will also increase the click-through rates of the link in that email. Our highest open email is always the one that is attached to the text message. Every single time, like by 10 to 20% usually higher at least on that one email just from having a text accompany it. Okay, if you're doing 48 hours for the flash sale, okay, we go 5 emails and we still keep it at 1 text. We are super conservative with text messaging for marketing our list. We'll do 1 big text message offer a quarter, but besides that, we just sort of use it as ways to increase the open rates because we don't want to piss people off. And especially now, since everyone is getting so much communication from businesses through text message, we want to make sure it's really, really simple. Okay, hopefully this helps. Can this be done in the Relentless? Yes, absolutely. Billy, I think that's going to be too confusing for parents. I like how you're trying to simplify it, though. So yes, what about just doing an age range 5 to 9, 10 to 12? I think that gets confusing. So what I would do is I would just do it by number. To create extra coupon codes, like 6 extra coupon codes, it's not going to take that much longer, honestly. And then what we do is we just keep a note because we have Max at the school. So on the note file, we just keep a record of all the coupon codes with the ages next to them and the link in there. So that way, whoever's at the front desk can easily reference that. Relentless software can definitely do this. I would make sure, the other thing I would do is before you send this, if you haven't done it already, let's say you use Spark or MyStudio or whatever CRM, make sure you export all of your leads. And if you're a Relentless client, send it to us or send it to your ad manager. You can probably do it right in Slack now that we're using that, but send it to your Ad Ninja, and then they can upload that list to make sure that we have every possible prospect available. And you just want to make sure it's a list that's not of anyone that's purchased trials or been a member. Okay, so just prospects. But you can definitely set up the emails in there pretty easily if that's something that you guys would like to do. Is this for leads that didn't sign up already? Yes. Good question. Yeah, so this is for any leads that have not purchased a trial before. So we don't want it to go to people that have already bought. We don't want it to go to current members. I wouldn't even send it to formal members. We have a separate campaign that we do for that. But this is the way to go. The last thing we'll sort of hit on the digital side, because we're almost out of time, is former member reactivation. This is a great time of year to do it. Mostly because everyone is reevaluating schedules, right? So anytime people are reevaluating schedules, it's a good time to put an activity in front of them. I know martial arts is more than an activity, but stay with me here. All right, former member reactivation. If you're a Relentless client, we have this built out for you. All you have to do is let your Ad Ninja know. They will ask for a list of your former members. They will load it into the Relentless software. They will schedule out the whole campaign for you. They will do it for you. So after this, if you just Slack your Ad Ninja, be like, hey, I want to do a former member reactivation campaign, they will load it all up for you. They'll schedule it out. Also, while we're on digital, and I'm talking about different email campaigns, never start a campaign on a Monday. Just heads up, start on a Tuesday. All right. On Mondays, people are going crazy. They're not paying attention to emails as much. In almost every instant that we've done some sort of email campaign to our members, Tuesdays and Wednesdays always perform better than Mondays. Okay, so former member reactivation. The other thing, if you're a Relentless client, that we need to know besides your former member list is we just need to know what offer you want us to do. I usually do free 30 days for these guys. And then I usually add 1 or 2 private lessons. And here's the psychology behind that. most likely, if they're coming back on this offer, they've been thinking about it for a little while, and there's something keeping them from coming back. And most times, after I talk to people that do come back, it's usually they feel like they're behind, or they're like self-conscious because the people they're training with before are at a higher level. So those private lessons are there to help sort of get them some momentum right at the beginning and to help ease that concern. So we do a free 30 days, 1 to 2 private lessons. We have it auto renew into a membership at the end of the 30 days, and we're very upfront about that. Okay. We already have rapport with them. We already have trust with them because they trained with us before, right? So we let them know, hey, it's free when they come in for the first lessons. When you let them know, don't let them know before that. But they come in and we say, all right, you have your free 30 days. And what we have set up is at the end of the 30 days, it's set to automatically enroll you into our 2 time per week membership. If at any time you don't want that to happen, all you have to do is come back and let us know. Okay. And we'll make sure that we stop it so the membership doesn't renew. But I just want to give you a heads up. Then we go over the pricing with them. And then we schedule their 1 to 2 free private lessons to help get them caught back up. And guys, these are only like 15 minutes each. I don't really call them private lessons in the marketing. We call it extra help sessions. So it's slightly worded different. And then basically it's a series, if I remember right, of 4 emails and a couple of text messages and also a voicemail that we send out. So with the Relentless software specifically, we can send out a pre-recorded audio message. It'll make their phone ring and it'll show up as a new voicemail. Their phone will ring twice. If they go to answer it, nothing will happen. Okay. And then they'll see a notification for a voicemail coming through. And the secret, and your ad ninja will go over it with you as well when they send you like the instructions for it, is you want the voicemail from the owner. And then the first text comes from a different person, a different coach, if you have one. If not, just send it from you. So a couple reasons for the why on this. Every former student you've had has had a connection or better rapport with a certain member of your team, right? Sometimes it might be you, sometimes it might be one of your other coaches. So when we send this, the voicemail comes from me, and then the text will come from our head coach because it includes a selfie of them. It'll be like, hey, this is Coach Scott, remember me? And then there's a selfie of Coach Scott in that text message. So that way, maybe they heard the voicemail and they're like, yeah. But then they see Coach Scott and they're like, oh, I used to love training with Coach Scott. Now all of a sudden, getting them excited. And plus just seeing his face when maybe they haven't seen it in a year, 2 years, 3 years, starts to bring back some of the positive feelings they had when they were training before. And then this will be a series of 4 or 5 emails. I don't remember how many off the top of my head. I think there's 2 text messages that we send out during this as well. We've had anywhere from 1 to 4 former members come back, which you might be thinking like, Adam, it's not a lot. I know it's not a lot, but it's every drip fills the bucket, right? So we just had the last one we did, was it last month, I think? And my team might correct me on this. I think it was last month. But we had at least 2 people come back off our former member reactivation from last month. And then we had a third one that came to a seminar and is still in sort of the conversation with us about coming back. But I doubt either one of the 2 that enrolled would have come back if we didn't reach out to them first. Okay. So hopefully you guys got some good stuff from this. Let's see, we got some questions. Okay, so you offer 30 days for free and give yes. And I'll say probably 50% of the people that actually come back will use the private lessons. Some people like never use them, which is fine also. Did everyone get something tangible to be able to take away from today that they can implement? Just give me a thumbs up or a yes in the chat or something to show that you're alive. That'd be awesome. Okay, cool. What I want to remind you guys too is every Thursday we do a martial arts systems call. We don't have it this Thursday because our whole team's gonna be out of town for our mastermind event. But every Thursday we do a martial arts systems call where I'm going over stuff just like this, but for like every aspect of your school, from on the mat to business to finances, all that stuff. So if you got value from this, definitely make sure you jump on our weekly martial arts systems calls because that'll be super valuable for you. And you guys, as if you're an agency client, you get every business system you need for your school in a library. Like it's done for you. It makes it simple. All right, but thank you guys for joining it. glad you guys got some good stuff out of it. And if you guys have any questions afterwards, please feel free to reach out. They're not pre-recorded, they're live. So we do those live every Thursday, Adrian. We do record them though, so if you can't make it, we have a library of them that you guys can access. All right. Thank you guys. Have an amazing rest of your day.